On Instablogs Global Report today, we talk about the rising mafia and crime rate in Brazilian slums. Our CJ discusses the constant fear of living under the shootings between the mafia and the police. We'll discuss that later in the show. Also in Global Report, slave children forced to perform lethal acts in Indian circuses. Mid-East facing choice between crops and water. Nepal's living goddesses might be abolished. Welcome to Instablogs Global Report. I am Shivanjali, your host for the day. Crime in Brazilian slums is proving too hard for the government to get rid of. Problems has its roots in political maneuverings, but how crime is making life difficult for commoners, tells our CJ from Brazil.
This is Celso, citizen journalist reporting for Instablogs from Brazil. In Brazil's slums, residents live at the mercy of the parallel state. Criminals and mafias dictate their will. As the government now seems determined to ensure that drugs gangs can take responsibility for services which the state normally provides, the Brazilians are living constantly under the growing fear of vital conflict. There are the constant conflicts between police and mafias, disrupting the normal life. People fear to come in the streets. They're afraid that thieves in the slum will rob them of their possessions, or else they will become prey to the constant firing between police and mafias. But these problems are more created by politicians than common people. Brazilian slums are seen as handy tools in political games. Politicians encourage poor to settle on public land, then provide them with a school, a clinic and other services to attract more people vote from them. So, these are the self-created problems that politicians are pretending to fight against, but will they is a question that still looms large.
Equality is still a distant dream for women in India and Nepal. They are sold like commodities only to avoid the cost of feeding and clothing them. Our CJ reports.
Shilpi Pathak reporting from India for Instablogs. India, where there are problems, not a few but many. One of them is child trafficking and selling them for various purposes, and girls in particular bear the brunt of the social stigma of being a burden on parents. Sometimes parents are too innocent to be fooled. However, most of the time they hand over their baby girls not just for cash but also to avoid the cost of feeding and clothing them. Some of them are pushed in prostitution and many in other fields like circus where they are slaves to their master's will. 17 of them, however, are lucky when they found their messiah in the form of London-based Easter Benjamin's Trust, which reunites circus girls with their families and educates them at centers in Nepal. The trust freed them from the Raj Mahal circus where they were forced to perform dangerous stunts under the threat of savage beatings and starvation. Women in India's society always play a second fiddle, and one question as to when the stigma will end, but who to put answers forth in a man-dominated society? Perhaps none.
Global food shortages have placed the Middle East in yet another conflict, as an expanding population takes its toll on the already scant water supply. More on this from our CJ.
This is Sarah Naguib, citizen journalist reporting from Egypt for Instablogs.com. Global food shortages have placed the Middle East and North Africa in a quandary as they are forced to choose between growing more crops to feed an expanding population or preserving their already scant supply of water. For decades, nations in this region have drained aquifers, sucked the salt from seawater, and diverted the mighty Nile to make the deserts bloom. But those projects were so costly and used so much water that it remained far more practical to import food than to produce it. Today, some countries import 90% and more of their staples. You can bring in money and water and you can make the desert green until either the water runs out or the money. Now the worldwide food crisis is making many countries in this politically volatile region rethink that math.
The age-old custom of royal living goddesses may come to an end in Nepal. This life of relative luxury that comes along with the strict cost setting that accounts for child abuse. Our CJ has more on this.
This is Mukunda, citizen journalist reporting from Nepal for Instablogs. With the end of Nepal's 240 years old monarchy last month, there is talk in the newly established Constituent Assembly of abolishing the whole religious tradition. Kumari Devi, or royal living goddess, that endure a constant stream of Hindu followers who come seeking her healing power or to snap a photo of her, might also be abolished by Nepal's Supreme Court. The practice of worshipping young girls and then casting them aside once they reach puberty is unique to Nepal, but the new Maoist government considers the Kumari as an evil symbol that is a form of child abuse and is not an essential institution for the new Nepal. After people's mass movement held 3 years ago, Nepal is being declared as non-religious country. This declaration directly or indirectly relates with the Kumari culture.
And if you want your voice to be heard by millions, let Instablogs be your platform. You can contact us at cj@instablogs.com. That's it in today's show. We'll be back with more updates and more voices. Till then, it's a goodbye from the entire team of Global Report.